Hello, hi, welcome once again to M5's new English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV screen to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well let's learn English together. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. How is everybody today? Are you all feeling fine? Is the dog happy? Is the cat sleeping? Good. Is your coffee hot? And are you sitting in a comfy chair? Good. Then you must be ready for today's lesson. Are you? You are? Great. Well then, what are we waiting for? Let's get stuck in. Now, this week, do you know what this week is? Do you know what number this week is? Well, let me tell you. This week is week 20. That's right. We've got 19 weeks under our belts, and this is now the start of week 20. And this week, the 20th week, is a revision week. We'll be looking back at the last few weeks and checking everything that we studied in weeks 15 to 19. So, are you ready? Let's hope so, because here we go. Now, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. No, that's not true. I'm lying. 4 weeks ago, in the same studio we're in now, we started the lesson by checking days and dates. And then we met the idea of a hangover for the first time. Do you remember Alfredo's hangover? He and Gordon drank too much, and the next morning, Alfredo didn't feel well. Okay, now what do we call the period before 12 noon on the 2nd of January? Easy, easy, easy. That's this morning. Okay. And what about a week on Thursday? What's that date? Bingo-licious. A week on Thursday is the 12th of January. And what about after 6 p.m. on the 3rd of January? That's right. That's tomorrow evening. And if I tell you that I went to a party the day before yesterday, which day was the party on? Correct, a snacky, snack-doodle-doo. It was the 31st of December. It was New Year's Eve. Great! And if I tell you that I'm going running the day after tomorrow, what day am I talking about? That's correct. I'm talking about the 4th of January. Well done. Okay. Let's see all of those in a table, shall we? Mabel? Mabel? Are you there, Mabel? Ah, Mabel, there you are. Mabel, Mabel, willing and able. Information in a table. Okay, great. Now, just as I promised, it's time for us to catch up with Dave and Alfredo. They're in their local pub again. Let's listen to what they're talking about. Evening, Alfredo. Alfredo, what's wrong with you? You look awful. Dave, believe me, I know. And I also feel awful. Well, tell me what happened. What happened? Dave, what do you think happened? Gordon came round on New Year's Eve. Gordon, your brother-in-law? Yes, Gordon, Mary's brother, my brother-in-law. Okay. And what did you do? Well, Mary and the kids stayed at home, and Gordon and I went to the pub. Okay. So what happened? Well, after the pub closed, we went back to Gordon's flat and continued drinking. Oh, I see. What time did you leave Gordon's flat? I think I left at 3-ish. And when did you get home? At 5-ish. What? It took you 2 hours to get home? How far from your house does Gordon live? Gordon lives about 2 kilometers away. 2 kilometers? How can it take anyone 2 hours to walk 2 kilometers? A dog with 1 leg could do it in 2 hours. I know, and please stop shouting. I've got a headache, and I've got a stomachache, and I've got a sore throat. My God, Alfredo, you're a mess. You've got a cold and a hangover. I know. How did you catch a cold? I caught a cold when I walked back home from Gordon's flat. I stopped in the park, sat down on a wet park bench, and fell asleep. Ooh, nasty. You fell asleep on a wet park bench. How long did you sleep for? I slept for about an hour, I think. When I woke up, I was soaking wet. I walked home coughing and sneezing. When I got home, I made myself a hot cup of tea with lemon and honey, but I've still got a cold. And what about your head and stomach? Well, that's because of the alcohol. Well, how much did you drink? I can't remember. A lot, I think. You can't remember? Good God! Well, in the pub, we drank beer. What sort of beer did you drink? Bitter, lager, pilsner, stout? We drank pilsner and lager. And what about after the pub? Well, we drank a couple of cans of stout at Gordon's flat. But he didn't have any more beer, so we drank wine. What type of wine did you drink? Did you drink white wine or red wine? Both. We started with white wine and then we drank some red wine. When the wine ran out, we started drinking spirits. Blimey! You two certainly know how to have a party. Which spirits did you drink? Well, I drank gin, vodka, whiskey, rum, and brandy. I don't know what Gordon drank. Gordon fell asleep on the sofa. So, what did you do when Gordon fell asleep? Well, I finished the bottle of brandy and then I left. Jesus wept! Alfredo! Is Gordon okay? I think so. I tried to call him, but his phone's turned off. And what happened when you finally got home? Well, like I said, I made some tea with honey and lemon, and then I went to bed. I woke Mary up. She wasn't very happy. I'm in the doghouse now. I'm not surprised. Why aren't you at home now? Well, Mary's still not very happy, so I thought I'd come here until she calms down. And what are you drinking? Beer. You've got a hangover and you're drinking alcohol. You're mad. No, I thought it would help. You know, a hair of the dog that bit you. Okay, hair of the dog. Is it working? No, not really. I still feel awful. Alfredo, I think you should go home. Go home and go to bed. You need some rest. I think you're right, Dave. Do you want the rest of my pint? No, no thanks, Alfredo. I don't want to catch your cold. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Oh well, I'm off home. See you later, Dave. Bye, Alfredo. Sleep well. Blimey, Alfredo certainly pushed the boat out this New Year's Eve, didn't he? Let's have another look at some of the new vocabulary we heard in that conversation. Well, we know the word awful. Awful is a synonym for horrible and terrible. What about the verb to continue? Well, to continue is to start again or to not stop. What about ish? Do you remember ish? That's right. We add ish to the end of a word to mean approximately. What about Dave's question? How far from? How far from is a question asking about the distance from one place to another. How far is Balaton-Örsöd from Budapest? It's about 130 kilometers. Good. Now, what about a headache and a stomachache? Well, a headache is when your head hurts. And a stomachache is when your stomach hurts. A sore throat is when your throat is painful, when your throat hurts. Alfredo has got a hangover. He's hung over. A hangover is when you feel terrible after you drink too much alcohol. Alfredo has also got a cold. When you've got a cold, you've got an infection, which normally means that your nose is blocked, you sneeze, achoo, and you have a sore throat. What about the phrase soaking wet? That means that something is full of water, not just a little damp, not wet, no. This is really, really wet. This is as wet as a blue whale's socks. Very wet. Okay. Mabel, if you're not hungover and unable, can you show us the information, please, in a table? Well, did you remember that? We learned that Alfredo and Gordon had a bit of a party, and now, well, Alfredo's paying the price for drinking too much. He's drinking alcohol so that he feels better, but it's not working. The idea of hair of the dog is an old idea. People tell you that if a rabid dog bites you, you should drink a drink with a hair of the dog that bit you in it. That way you won't get rabies. Unfortunately, this is an old wives' tale. People think that it works, but it doesn't. People still suggest it to you when you have a hangover, but I don't think that it works. It never worked for me. Okay. And that's all we've got time for today. I'll see you tomorrow for some more English language revision here on M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. Don't forget to check out all the videos at www.m5tv.hu. I'm Gav Duncan. I'm not Clint Finn and I'm not Ian McLaren. I'm Gav Duncan and I'll see you later. Bye!